Flaps. Hi, everybody. Welcome in. And what is up, gamers? Oh, good. I touched a precariously teetering pile in the studio behind me, and now it is no longer stable. Bear with. Just one moment, please. Oh, come on. Come on. You were fine 2 seconds ago. Why is it suddenly a problem now, huh? What's wrong with you, Mr. Warhammer Boxes? You better stay. I don't have time for this. Anyways, hi everyone, welcome in. If anyone's still here after that, I not know. Hey. So, if I seem mildly discombobulated, rather than my usual combobulated self, that's because I got a telephone call, an unexpected telephone call, right before stream. Instinctually, I decided to answer it despite being an unrecognized 07 number, and it was the doctor's office. Calling from an unrecognized 07 number. I really wish they wouldn't do that because I don't know about you, but I don't like answering phone calls from numbers I don't recognize. Like, no. Especially if I'm not expecting a call. Anyway, so that was a little bit, for clarity, as far as I'm aware, I'm still okay. I am expecting a call relatively soon, but at a specified date and time that was not today. They were just, they just had a question. But I'm fine. But, yeah, no, you gotta don't do that. You gotta don't give me surprise phone calls. I'm not gonna have a good job with that. But it's fine, I'm fine. Thank you so much for the lurks to Turn Up and Pantheon, and hello Katie, welcome in. Hello everybody, I hope you're well. Hope you're having the loveliest of lovely Mondays. I hope you had good weekends as well. I think my weekend was fine. I can't really recall it, which is usually probably an okay sign. Did I not clean this brush? I thought I cleaned this brush. Maybe I just didn't clean the ferrule. There was some colorful gunk on the ferrule. I did do some painting this weekend, which is why that was slightly in question. If you want to know what I finished painting, so this painting, I'll just tell you before I show you. This painting went on a journey. So you may remember from last stream, I started this little painting, while we were waiting for, like, wet bits of this to dry, of, a character from Star Trek Deep Space Nine with the trans pride flag stripes behind her. And then I'm working with new paints. The paints are in tubes. I do not like working with tubes of paint. I don't know how I did it. I was being so careful, but I somehow managed to get, like, a smear of paint onto specifically this side of this pinky finger, and then that touched here. And it got a big, like, you can see it on the underside, a big green smudge that I tried to clean off, and in so doing kind of made it worse. But then I remembered, gouache is pretty opaque. So I just painted over it with a nice opaque stripe of gouache and went over the entire background with a thicker, less transparent application of paint. And actually, I think she turned out really, really cute. Congratulations, Jadzia, you trans icon. So yeah, that actually worked out fine. And then I also finished this little painting of Miles O'Brien. Because I don't know why I did that voice. I made a Miles character in my Tomodachi Life game, because I think he's fun. And it hurts because I can't set the character's accent, so technically his accent is English, but I gave him the closest to like an Irish lilt of, like, a delivery as I could, and it kind of works, like, if you squint. But he also he has this really deep voice that's like, alright, Admiral. Just like, I also named myself Admiral. It's very funny. And he also greets me very enthusiastically no matter what, so he'll be like, I have a tummy ache, Admiral. I'm like, okay, why are you so happy about it? Anyways, it was really cold in here, so I made myself a hot tea, and now that my hot tea is next to me, I'm getting really uncomfortably warm, so I'm gonna move it off to one side and drink my iced tea instead, I guess. I made an iced tea earlier because it was too hot, and now... And then I came into the studio, and I'm like, oh my god, the studio is so chilly. I should have made a hot tea. So I have two teas now. One is lemon sherbet, and the other one is lemon ginger, so I'm feeling very lemony today, apparently. Which is no bad thing, I love lemons. Anyways, lovely, lovely lemons. Katie says, oh, I hate when doctor's offices, banks, etc. use numbers that, one, aren't listed somewhere where I can find them / make a contact in my phone ahead of time. Yep. And 2, not the same number as they've used previously. It is. Whoa. Very, very. It means I've missed a lot of calls that I otherwise would have picked up. For that very reason. It's like, I don't know who you, like, you would think that they'd be aware of the fact that, like, people get so many ding-dang spam calls and scam calls, and just generally sometimes you just don't want to talk to people, that, like, if we don't recognize the number and are like, oh, this is something I should definitely pick up immediately, we'll probably want to screen. So when they just use, like, a random number that you're not going to recognize and it's not going to come up in your contacts as, like, doctor's office or, blah, 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 like, physio or pharmacy or the bank. It's no. It's like when I got a call from a random number that was an automated message asking me if I had authorized a transaction. I was like, ooh, well, that sounds like a scam. So I guess, like, they left a voicemail, but I'm glad I didn't pick that up. And it turns out that super scammy, super fake-sounding call from a random number was actually my bank verifying that somebody tried to, like, fraud my credit card. Most annoyingly, I found this out while I was in like, away in Wales for a weekend. And so they canceled one of my bank cards while I was away for the weekend, and thank God, number 1, I was not alone, and number 2, I had a backup, like, card that I could use because I have a bank card and a credit card. Otherwise, I would have been really stuffed. Oh no. But yeah, like, when I heard that, I just assumed, oh, this is fake. Right? This is a scam. And then, like, I searched the number, and I think I eventually found someone saying, oh yeah, this is Barclays. And I'm like, oh shit, that is the bank. What? Like, why would they send me something that sounds so much like it's a scam? Honestly. Anyways, I need to mute for just a second. I'm so sorry. Oh my goodness, yes. Also, Katie says, this is also why voicemail exists. Also, doctor's office plus text from the same number consistently. Thanks. Yes, exactly, yes. That is another thing that really irks me. If you have something important to say, like if you're the bank or the doctor's office or whatever, and you genuinely have something very important that you need to actually talk to me about, leave me a voicemail and I will call you back at my earliest convenience, which may be just a couple seconds later because you confirmed that you're a number that I want to talk to. But so many times they just don't leave a message, and then I'll get a call from the same number like 2 or 3 more times, and eventually I'll pick up because I'll be like, okay, this number keeps calling me. Maybe it's not spam. But y'all, you gotta don't do that. My PNG tuber's here. Sorry about that. I forgot to put them live. I'm so sorry. But they're there now. Anyways, so yeah, that was my immediately before stream. So if I started out a little bit frazzled here, that would be why. But other than that, I am fine. I had a fine weekend. I did a little bit of art doing. I did a little bit of off-stream silk songing. If you missed it last silk song stream, and that's the kind of thing you care about, I beat Grohl. And so I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna have to try and beat that fight in my practice stream now. And I did that too. It took me a really long time to figure out what the secret to Grohl was, and it turns out that the secret to Grohl was just don't be afraid of being goopy. Just hide from his many attacks by just swimming in goop the whole time, and just hop out to do an attack, usually with a ranged weapon, and then get back in the goop. That's it. And that's what won me that. And that felt really good. Anyways, so having done these 2 little Star Trek fan arts, which I figured Star Trek fan art was probably a good practice space for using some new paints because it's extremely low stakes. Like, if it's not good, then, well, I did it mostly off stream. And, it doesn't really matter that much. But what I've learned from these is that I kind of need to rewire how I paint certain things. Just in terms of like letting things get a little bit less transparent and not worrying about things being very transparent necessarily, because I don't necessarily like the way that it looks when it's super transparent. Like the background of this is kind of neat, but I feel like the texture generally of it when it's more like transparent I don't like as much as watercolor. So I think I would rather use it somewhat more thickly and then sort of layer it in that way. And I think I'll probably like that better. So that's what I'm going to attempt to do. This is a street of rainbow, and I think I've decided that I'm going to go, you know, like red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, and then the trans blue, pink, white. I think. Is that what I want to do, or do I want to do blue, pink, white, and then the rainbow here? Oh no. I'm overthinking it. I was all ready to start painting and now I'm not sure. Uh-oh. Aw, plaps. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. I've overthought it. You know, I think I might do that, actually. I think I might start with, like, the trans stripes and then do, the rainbow. I think that, yeah, actually, you know what? I think that'd be cute. I think that would be cute. So, I think that's what I will do. Okay, so here's white paint. So I'll need some white paint to make our pastel pink and blue. And white, obviously. And then, so I will stir those up. I will actually use this brush that I don't really use to paint anymore because it's kind of bad. But I will just get some globs of this paint out. Preferably not accidentally overdoing it. But I think I want a pretty reasonable amount of each, even though it's a fairly tiny footprint. This is the other thing. I'm so not used to using like wet. Oh no, I've squeezed out more paint than I think I need, but I can't. The paint won't go back in, so I think I'm just gonna have to attempt to use it.
Attention.
Twitch user Sammy Kelch.
Hi, Sammy, and
Shoppers.
welcome in. Hello, Raiders. Hello, hello. Welcome to the absolute chaos and hopefully eventual cozy of this gouache attempting stream. I'm just about to make a trans pride flag of colors. So happy Pride Month to you all as well. But Sammy Ann, thank you so much for the raid. Welcome in. Hello, hello. Please enjoy this extremely incomplete and very ugly looking artwork right now. But hello, Kindred. Hello, Sammy Ann. Hello, Sammy Ann. How was your stream? What did you get up to today? It's lovely to see you. Welcome in. Let me get a shout out for Sammy Ann in the chat. If you're not familiar with the work of the lovely Sammy Ann Art, you should really go give her a follow, because Sammy Ann's really, really cool, and she does really delightful, whimsical, lovely, beautiful, wonderful, very fun artworks. And I wholeheartedly recommend. But yeah, we're futzing around with gouache today, and I was hoping that this piece, which, now that I'm looking at it, I'm like, is this whimsical enough? I don't know. But yeah, we were working more on werewolf card designs, and specifically the frames. Ooh, delightful. Absolutely delightful. As always, as you know what I'm about to say. If you have anything that you would like to share with the class, you're more than welcome to whisper a link in my direction, whether that's what you were working on today, or like something recent that you think is cool, or your socials, or whatever. It's all good. Or if you just wanna chill, that's also fine. No pressure whatsoever. We are an art tax optional stream. I don't know if I've introduced myself. Hi everyone, my name's Twitch user Sammy Kelch. I'm a variety streamer. I'm gonna show you some artwork that's done, so I feel better about myself. I'm a traditional artist. I work primarily in watercolor, but we're messing around with gouache at the moment because I bought some for funsies. But yeah, so we stream art on Mondays and Thursdays. We stream games on Fridays, and every once in a while on a Thursday if I'm feeling extra spicy. This is indeed, it's our lovely Chief O'Brien. Here he is in all his rectangular glory. He believes in you, and he says that you can do it. Sammy Ann's going to raid and run. I have some appointments to run off to, but of course, let me get another shout out for you in the chat. Once again, if you're not following the lovely Sammy Ann, you should do that. And if you came in with the raid, hi, welcome. I hope you're well, and I hope you had a lovely weekend as well. How are you doing? Anyways. But yeah, I do watercolors mostly, but I'm doing gouache at the moment because I bought some and I want to spread my wings a little bit and see whether or not I like it. Mostly because I keep getting recommended, like, gouache painting people on my, like, Instagram feed, and I keep being like, oh, that looks really cool. I wanna see what I could do with that. And it's an interesting process, to say the least. But, yes. So what we're up to today, as you can tell, it's Pride Month. So we are doing a little Toronto-inspired street scene. This is inspired by a strip of Spadina Avenue, but I am painting it in the colors of Pride. And I hope that it will look cute and fun. And I hope that I have fun doing it. I don't know how many tiny details I'm going to add to this, but probably tons. Because it's me. Let's be real. I am pathologically incapable of not adding a butt ton of tiny details to things generally. So that's probably how things are going to go. If you're curious as to what my artwork looks like when it's done, I haven't posted anything to my socials of new art, I don't think, since Hollow Knight Art Month. Because that was an entire month of posting things every day, and that tends to exhaust me, and I'm just like, I don't want to do it for, like, at least a week afterwards. But here's something I did not too long ago, if I can get it to work. Don't mind me just futzing around in the background. Please work. No, it's not working. Okay. Oh, yay, it's working! Yay! It's regularly broken. Anyways, here's something that I posted for Hollow Knight Art Month. If you don't know anything about Hollow Knight or Silksong, there's some cozy video games, but don't worry about it. Basically, it's just an excuse for me to get cozy and cute with some characters in a universe that I enjoy playing in. So that's some of them. My artwork doesn't normally look quite like this. I like to think it's not normally this cursed, but I don't know. You tell me. Where's some... Here's what my artwork looks like when I'm not doing Hollow Knight fan art. That's better. But additionally, if you're not following Sammy Ann and you want to know what kind of stuff that Sammy Ann gets up to... Oh, hello. I don't think I've seen this one. No, I haven't been on Instagram in like a week, so I haven't seen this. This is the Dragon Cafe. Oh my god, that's so cozy. I want to go to there. That is so pretty. Oh my goodness gracious. That is... Oh! It's long! I want to go to there and have a nice cup of tea. And those biscuits look absolutely delicious. Good look at this tiny little friend. Ah! I love them. I love them so much. This is beautiful. If you like dragony whimsy and that kind of thing, please do go give Sammy Ann a follow. Because Sammy Ann is lovely and you should go give her some love and support. And thank you again. I know she's probably gone off and done her thing, but thank you again for the raid. I don't know why it clicked on the BRB screen, because I didn't do that. But anyways, hello, Petey. Petey says, like, OMG, Sammy Kelch is, like, so live, and I'm, like, fangirling 10,000, like, so right now. Oh, my God. I'm fangirling right back at you. Hello. I hope that you're doing well. It's lovely to see you. Welcome, welcome. I am going to attempt to make the color pink. It's more complicated than you think. Also, I did not mean to make that rhyme. So apologies for that. Okay, so I have to add a tiny blobbit of red, but very little, because this is super, very well pigmented paint. And the red makes it, I think, too much of a red-leaning pink. So to that end, I'm going to need to supplement and also get just a ton of this off of my brush because I don't want to be smearing other paint colors inside this tube, I also need a little touch, if I can acquire a little touch of this violet to just make it a slightly more cool toned pink. You want a good balance between the two. Okay, this brush is horrendous for mixing colors. Oh, this feels really bad. This feels really bad, and I think also because I let it sit for a bit, the paint is starting to dry slightly, so it's super thick. Oh, I am not used to working with tubes. I am used to working with dry pans, and my god, it is so much easier. It is so much easier. Ugh. The absolute nightmare that I'm having right now. It's like, it's fine. I think it's just a different medium. That does take a little bit of getting used to, and I am still getting used to it. Anyways, I hope you're well, Petey. Thank you so much for popping in and saying hello. It's lovely to see you. Okay. And now for my other couleur, I'm going to pick up a little, just a tittle hair's breadth of ultramarine to make a nice pastel-y pride blue. And we'll see how we get on with that. If we do, come on. Oh, that's such a pretty blue. Yay, I love it. Okay, I used this brush to just kind of like screw up the paints together because I was like, that's hard on a brush. And I don't really use this brush as a brush anymore because it's kind of a bad brush, but it also meant that it was a really unpleasant and bad brush to try and stir together paints with as well, because it's just a real pain in the backside to use, it turns out. I should really probably just give this brush a proper burial at sea, because I think it's lost a lot of its bristles, and it's always a sad thing when like a really good dependable paintbrush starts to go bad, you know what I mean? It just makes me so sad. That was a really good dependable paintbrush, but it is no longer a really good dependable paintbrush. I'm just adding a little bit of, I want this to be fairly opaque, but I am adding a little bit of water to it just so it flows better, because I do find that these Holbein paints are very, very thick, which is, on the one hand, good, but on the other hand, I think they do need a little bit of help with flowing, but I am down with getting a result from these that is more opaque than one would expect from like my usual watercolors. It is a bit of a learning curve and a bit of an adjustment in that way. I'm starting to see the appeal. I think the next thing that I want to do with these is some kind of like landscapey situation where I can do some interesting layering techniques and that kind of thing, which I don't really have as much of an opportunity to play with in this piece. I have debated whether or not I want to just attempt to squeeze some tiny people on the street into the foreground of it, which again, because you can get, you know, sort of fairly full opacity with this gouache, I could potentially just decide to paint some people on the top, which normally would not be something that's particularly feasible in watercolor. I'm having an interesting time relearning all of the things that are normally limitations to me aren't limitations here. And it's kind of cool. It's kind of cool. It's kind of weird. And I haven't experimented enough to feel like mega confident about it yet, but I think I could get to a point where I feel mega confident about it. I guess my one biggest concern is if I'm painting with a different medium, does my art still look like my art? That's a question that I'm not sure about. I mean, I think it does so far. What was that? What was that? Oh, okay. Great, okay. My antivirus etc. Defender software found no threats since the last scan. Okay, great. Thank you so much for that. I'm glad that that's the case, I guess, but also did you have to make like an annoying Windows noise to tell me that? while I'm streaming? So rude. Oh my god. Do they not realize that I'm in the middle of something very important live on the internet? I had an antivirus once, says the Voriax, very sickly woman. Oh, jeez. Well, I'm very sorry to hear that. But, hello. How are you doing? Lovely to see you as well. I hope you are doing goodly. I hope you had a good weekend. I am, as you can see, finally coloring this thing in, and I think it's gonna look so much nicer when it's actually like colored and has details and stuff, because right now it looks a bit naff. I've always tried to be quick to like try and find some completed works to show like raiders when they come into stream, just because like I feel like whatever's going on here is usually not a particularly glowing indicator of what my work looks like when it's done. And that makes me feel some kind of interesting way. That makes me worry that people are like, wow, this art is butt ugly. I don't want to hang out here. And it's like, no, I promise it's sometimes good. But then also I think some people who don't really have, who haven't done art themselves, don't necessarily understand like that art goes through a real ugly duckling phase of the process before it gets like it'll often start out like nice as a sketch, and then you like add to it and you're like, oh no. And then because it's just partially completed. But then by the time it's all done, oh, it looks good again. What a surprise. Trusting the process and all that, which I'm not always the best at. But I'm trying. Okay, we have building number 1. Hooray. Or at least a stage of building number 1. Katie says, honestly, I thought it was my computer making the Windows noise for like a split second. I am so sorry. I am so sorry. It should not have done that. I'm sorry it did that. Truly, I am. Yes. Anyways, doing pride flag stuff reminds me, I recently saw someone, and to be fair, they are allowed to say this because they are also non-beanie, but, they were saying, they were celebrating, sort of a milestone number of years of being out as non-binary, and they were like, I'm really happy, I'm the happiest I've ever been, even though our flag is mid, and I did feel a twinge of, hey! Because I think that I like the non-beanie flag. I like the color scheme. Maybe it's because, actually, thinking of it, the color, like the yellow and gold are the same colors that were like the official colors of the university that I went to. But maybe I just also happen to really like those colors. It's generally probably not good practice to choose a sexuality or gender identity based on the color scheme of the flag, but like, it's definitely a bonus if it's a flag that you think looks cool, right? Anyways, I have to mute again for a second. I'm very sorry. I'm very congested today for some reason. It's very annoying. I'm sorry. Also, my throat is a bit sore. I don't think I'm coming down on something. I'm just generally fatigued. Anyways. This leads me to an unrelated question. I don't know if there's anyone in the chat currently who also streams, but if you do, I'm curious to know if you've noticed this. Since like a week or two ago, I would say, the last few times I've had to like change category when I stream, because as you know, I do cozy art streams on Monday through Thursday. Mondays and Thursdays, rather, and I do cozy game streams on Fridays and every once in a while on a Thursday if I'm feeling extra spicy. Which I'm not this week. I'm just feeling normal levels of spicy, so we'll paint either this if we haven't finished it, or something else if we have. Probably something joyfully gay, because it's Pride Month. Not that I don't often paint things that are joyfully gay anyways. But when I set my stream category and title and stuff before starting today's stream, I had to re-enter all of my stream's tags. Normally it like retains all the tags that are things like cozy and LGBT and ADHD and all those things that are and no back seating, the things that are a constant no matter what I'm doing. It normally retains all my tags, and then I just leave any perma tags like those and change the relevant additional tags like first playthrough or painting, depending on whether I'm gaming or doing art. And today, the only tag that was an existent tag when I set my category was English, and I had to re-add all of my other tags back in. So I'm 100% sure that there's probably a tag that's missing, because I think I also have one fewer tag than I did before, but I don't remember what the tag was, and it was probably something really important, and now I can't remember what it was. Ah, shoot, I think it was 18 plus. Heck, shoot. Can I change that now? Hold, please. This is an adult stream for grown-ups, by the way. If you are not an adult grown-up, this is probably not a great place to hang out, because things do get a little bit spicy and grown-up every once in a while. Also, please don't talk about your ages, chat, because I don't want to have to ban you. Anyways. Now that that's out of the way, and I think I remembered that that's what it was. Not that anyone reads the stream tags anyways. The number of, like, there's the no backseating tag in the tags, right? As well as in the chat rules that, again, I don't think anyone... It's one of those things where it's like, these are very important things that no one reads. It's like terms and conditions, you know? I generally do try and read chat rules before chatting in a new stream, because honestly, sometimes the rules give me an idea of the vibes, and if the vibes based on the rules that I see feel off and not great, I don't really want to introduce myself in that chat either, you know? Like, sometimes there will be places where, I don't know, I don't want to cite any specific examples, but sometimes the vibes are just not the vibes that you feel like you're gonna feel comfortable in for whatever reason that is. Either they seem like they'll be too permissive of stuff that you are not comfortable with, or they're too unpermissive of stuff that, like, you would rather be chill about and you don't want to have to, like, constantly be monitoring your behavior about. If that's the case, I have just both types of streams where I'm just like, okay, this is probably a nice, like, environment for those who enjoy it, but it's not for me, and that's okay. Not every environment will be for you, and that's fine. I am entirely certain that this stream is not for many people, and that's also fine. As long as everyone who is here is having a nice time. I'm enjoying my Monday so far, says Petey, in fact. Good, I'm glad to hear it. I'm very, very glad to hear it. I am too. I had leftover takeaway and then some yogurt and granola for my 2-course lunch. Very fancy stuff. It was not. It was like 2 tablespoons of, you know, sometimes when you get like a takeaway meal and it ends up being just ever so slightly too much food, but it's like, I could just attempt to finish eating this, but I will make myself unwell if I do, even though it's not that much. So I did that. So it was like not enough to make like proper leftovers for today's lunch. So I ate like 2 tablespoons of fried rice noodles, and then I followed that up with some granola and yogurt, or as I like to call it, granogurt. Yum, yum, yum. Okay. Alright. It is weird painting white on top of white. I don't normally use white paint. This is one of the weird things about gouache for me, is just like, white paint. What? That's a thing that you can have. Because obviously in watercolor, if you want something to be white, you just don't paint it. Or normally anyways. I think there's like one watercolor set that I'm aware of where that like comes with white, but a lot of watercolor people are just like, no. If I want something to be white, I just don't paint over the paper of that segment. And that's generally what I prefer to do. But for this is gouache, where the rules are different. And I have painted, you can just about see the difference in the shade of white. Because this is actually, this paper is a reasonably warm white. Which one doesn't necessarily, I don't necessarily think of when I'm using this paper. This is the same paper, but a different size. But if you look at, for instance, if we compare between the white of this and the white of this paint pan set, that's also white, but they're so different. You know, this is a much warmer hue. This is a much less warm hue. It's like a brighter white. Interesting in it. It's one of those things that, oh man, okay, so this is so stupid, but there was this series of adverts that it feels like it was written by like conservative boomers for conservative boomers. Because it was all, you know, those sorts of things like the myth of going to a coffee shop and trying to order just like a black filter coffee and having the person behind the counter not understand what that is because all they serve is like insanely complicated espresso based drinks. Which isn't true. A good coffee shop will have just like filter coffee, and if they don't have just filter coffee, they'll say, is an Americano okay? And you'll say, sure, even though no, it's not the same thing. It's a different drink. It tastes different, but but still, you're out and about and you're getting a to-go coffee. Honestly, like, good enough, right? But yeah, but this advert was like, the person is looking for white paint, and the lady who like works for the paint company is showing all of these like paint samples of different shades of white, and she's like, oh, we've got Whisper of Smoke and bleached cauliflower and you know, whatever, blah blah blah, and the person's just like, I just want white paint, and it's just like, I need you to understand that this scenario never happens in real life. But as an artist, I'm also aware of the fact that there are actually, like, what we perceive as being the color white does have subtleties and differences, and you notice when you purchase different paper stocks that are all white that there's a difference between the, like, screamingly bright white printer paper that you get at your office versus the, like, nice sort of, like, warm white that you get from, you know, like, a good quality artist's paper. It's different. Just look at the difference between, okay, so here's the block of paper, and look at the difference between, like, the two sides of it. This is like the sleeve, like the cover of the paper block. And now it's completely blown out my camera. Please don't do that. I'm trying to illustrate something. Like, these two whites are totally different. This is a much pleasanter, creamier, warmer white. But, like, we would still call this white. We wouldn't call it, like, cream or ecru or anything. We wouldn't call it off-white because it's white. It's just a slightly different shade of white. That being said, I still hate that Pantone made its color of the year Cloud Dancer. That was so fucking stupid. That was so fucking stupid. I'm sure you can find, if you want to, the stream where I ranted about how stupid that was and also how depressing that was. I think what I didn't touch on in that, I think, is that ultimately, like, Pantone kind of sucks. Because they've positioned themselves as like the standard purveyor of colors for a lot of like design based things and printing based things, which is actually quite annoying when you're trying to get something printed. Like, for instance, I did a run of enamel pins, and the printer that I was using asked for the like preferably the Pantone color references for all of the different inks that they would need to use to print these, and the Pantone color guide is really expensive. It's stupid expensive because it's intended for like big companies, not like a person who wants to get a run of enamel pins done that itself is going to be less expensive to have printed than it would have been to buy the Pantone color guide. Get in the fucking bin. Anyways, but also ultimately their color of the year is not for artists. It's for like design businesses. It's for like it's for like, you know, places who design products like kitchens and shoes and that kind of thing. It's not for painters. It's not for like, you know, designers of little bits. It's for companies. And therefore I think we should, going forward, but also just using the color, like that white color was just so cynical and depressing for many and various reasons. And I think just for political stuff that I won't get into was really kind of nasty. Yeah. I think we should just actually ignore them from now on. I think we should, whatever they forecast the color of 2027, who cares? Who cares? Make your color whatever color you want. Don't, as an artist, do not give a fluff about whether or not a color is trending. Just paint colors that bring you joy. And that's pretty much what I've always done. Am I successful as an artist? I don't know. Define success. Am I a professional artist? Technically, I make income from it, but not enough to, like, have to file taxes. I'm earning, like, 3 figures a year as an artist. So, you know. Anyways, Pantone needs to go straight to jail. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200 straight to jail permanently, says Katie. Yes, absolutely yes. Right up there with Adobe. Adobe, obviously, also evil. I do actually, okay, so I do use Photoshop, but the reason that I am able to use Photoshop is that I was given a copy of a compact disc version of Photoshop that is so old that it is not a part of Adobe's current sort of update cycle suite. It just exists physically on my machine and is not connected to the Adobe cloud in any way, shape, or form. That's the only way that I use Photoshop, is that Adobe gets no more of my money for it. And that's great for me. If I ever have to change computers, I don't know if I'll be able to install Photoshop onto my new computer because I don't know where the disc is. If I find the disc. Like, Adobe doesn't know you have it, OMG. Yeah, basically that, Katie. Basically that exactly. Like, it's not pirated or anything like that. It is a legitimate copy of Adobe Photoshop that was purchased before they implemented the whole online cloud subscription-based doodah that seals you into this cycle of increasingly expensive yearly fees, and other bad stuff. And obviously, you know, when they started promoting their AI stuff, like, ew, yuck, nasty, do not want. This is not helping creatives. Creatives do not want this. Shoehorning it into everything is making everything worse. And it's getting so annoyingly difficult to try and find alternatives. Because everyone is shoehorning AI into all of their stuff. Nobody wants this. Like, the creatives do not want this. We don't want it. Stop doing it. I do actually, okay, I will not name them, but there is a reasonably prominent streamer who I stopped watching because they did a sponsored stream sponsored by Adobe. Now I understand you've got bills to pay and kids to feed, you know, get that sponsorship bag where you can, I suppose. But they were specifically asked to, like, highlight Adobe's, like, generative image helper features as part of that sponsored content. And then, when, unsurprisingly, many members of their community were like, this ain't it, chief. As an artist, you should feel bad about this, and you should understand why people are uncomfortable with these technologies and would not want to use them, and, like, it's a bad look, and as an artist, you shouldn't be supporting this. And they gave kind of one of those, I hear you, and I understand your concerns. And that's the end of the statement. And so I was like, all right. Like, you know, like, I don't have to disagree. I don't have to agree with everyone that I associate with about everything. And I don't have to, you know, we don't have to share all of the same opinions about everything. And there are lots of people that I know with whom I do not share all the same opinions about everything. And that is absolutely fine. But there's some stuff that I do kind of draw a bit of a hard line on. And one of those things is, like, how gung-ho are you about, you know, using your platform to promote services that actively disenfranchise other artists, that is doing unnecessary environmental damage, etc., etc., etc. Like, I don't want to carry on about this too much, but it's just like, you know, it's one of those things that's kind of a deal breaker for me. So I did stop watching that creator, because I was just like, I feel like however much they paid you for this one sponsored stream was not enough to justify just throwing any such principles out the window. Like, it just felt nasty. Katie says, just because someone has bills to pay doesn't mean they have to be a sellout about it. Yeah, exactly. And I have, on a number of occasions, dropped creators that I used to watch on other platforms as well, because they took sponsorships that were, like, clearly sketchy. There's some stuff that I'm like, okay, whatever, I don't care. There was this one guy who, he had a sponsorship with this app that basically, the way that it works, and it's really cool, I'm doing the sponsor voice here, but basically what you do is you give them all of your, like, personal information to sign up for the app, right? And then every time you buy something, you scan your receipt with the app, and then you get points, and the points can become, like, rebates or gift cards or other cool stuff. Probably takes a really long time to get that $5 gift card. But hey, free stuff, and you didn't pay for the app. And you know what? When you don't, you know what it means when you don't pay for the app? It means that you're the product and your data is being sold to advertisers. And God knows who else. Sell your data for fuck all, says Sledge, and I quite agree. Hi, Sunshine. My beautiful moderator / spouse. You're here just in time for Salty Sammy hours. Hi, I'm Sammy the Salty Sea Dog, and I'm here to have complaints. Anyways, so yeah, that was a sponsorship that, salty. Heck, I am one salty pretzel, apparently. But, yeah, someone did, like, a sponsored segment on their YouTube channel, I think, for this app that, basically asks you to sell your data for very little return. And it was so obviously just, like, a data mining scam that I was just like, anyone with a shred of principles would have said no to this service. You know what I mean? There's a lot of stuff that has gone around the ad.
Attention.
The sponsored
Twitch user
YouTube
Sammy
stuff
Kelch.
that
Choppers.
is maybe a little bit sus, but, like, I can understand, but yeah, no, anyways. Cece's here. Hi, I'll stop ranting. I'm also going to, can I pause the ads? Ads are running in 30 seconds and it's not letting me snooze. I'm so sorry. Anyways, Roma, thank you very much for the follow. Citros, hello, welcome in. I'm trying to see whether or not I can pause the ads, because otherwise a bunch of you are probably going to get catapulted into an ad break. And otherwise a bunch of you are probably going to get catapulted into an ad break. Paul the Tyrant, hello. hello, hello, and thank you so much for the follows to Roboth and Paul the Tyrant as well. Welcome in, friends. Hello, Cece. How was your stream? I'm so sorry if you're about to see ads. I'm going to put up the BRB screen, and hopefully we'll reconvene right after, because I cannot pause the ads, which is really frustrating, because I'd like to say hi to you all, and I want to know how your stream went. I had a lovely lurk there for a little while, and it was super nice. But yeah, also, if you have anything to share, please whisper me a link. I would love to share with the class. Please enjoy the BRB screen in the meantime. I'll be back very shortly. BRB. Alright, I'm back. I am so sorry. I'm so sorry that the Raiders came right into ads. I really am. Unfortunately, for some reason, it would not let me snooze the ads. I don't know why. I haven't snoozed ads at all in a very, very long time. I would have thought that they would have renewed themselves by now, but apparently not. Anyways, hello. Did I say that my name's Twitch user Sammy Kelch, that I'm a variety streamer, that I do art streams on Mondays and Thursdays, and that I do game streams on Fridays and sometimes on a Thursday if I'm feeling extra crispy? I don't know. But I've said it now, so yay. Now you know. Anyways, welcome in, friends. I hope that your stream went well, CC. For the parts of it that I was able to lurk, it was a lovely time. And my goodness, the work, as always, incredibly delightful. I also have, hopefully I can show. Okay, so this is something that I painted a little while ago. This is Craig. Craig is a toad. He's a wizard. He is a friend of our friend of the channel, Terry the Forg Mage, who has been a long-standing member of the Twitch user Sammy Kelch cinematic universe. There he is. And they have, well, what shall I say? Craig thinks that they have some kind of a rivalry, but Terry just thinks that they're besties. It's a complicated friendship, but they'll figure it out eventually. But more importantly than me, we can take a look at CC's work. I absolutely adore this piece. I think it's so stinking cute. The little... That is just the best. It's my favorite. I love it so much. I think it's so stinking cute. Look at the little animals, the little mechanisms. I love art that has, like, this kind of interactive element to it. It's one of the things that's just so delightful about traditional art as well, is that you can do stuff like this. And I just want to keep looking at it because it's so stinking cute. But if you like this kind of magical delights and whimsy and all that jazz, you should definitely go give some love to the lovely CC. Oh my goodness, there's more. There's so many. I love when you put secrets in your artwork. That's so much fun. I love it so much. Look at the little mice running off with the crumbs of cheese. How precious. Oh, I love it. I love it so much. This is so good. Again, please go follow. It's just so good. Anyways. So we're making a new one with that, with sea animals, which is absolutely, sea animals are so cool and like inherently whimsical. It's gonna be so good. It's gonna be so good. Look, they're going to they made it to the moon! Yay! How absolutely lovely. What a wonderful story. So I'm getting a weird stabbing pain. But anyways, thank you again so much for sharing with us. I do appreciate it. And let me get another shout out for you in the chat. This is very much appreciated, and if you do like what you see, please do consider giving CC a follow. As for us, it is Pride Month this month, and as always, when it's Pride Month, I like to increase the rainbows, even more than I usually do. This is something that I painted yesterday, which older viewers may remember. Star Trek Deep Space Nine. It's Trans Icon Jadzia Dax. This was one of my very first forays with gouache paint, because I'm normally a watercolor person. And I actually, okay, I'm gonna let you in on a little something. You can see on the back here, I got a smudge of a very dark teal paint right here on the very pastel colored trans flag, and I was like, oh no, oh no, oh shoot, what am I gonna do? And then I remembered that this paint is significantly more opaque than watercolor, and I can just put a nice thick layer of pastel pink and pastel blue over top, and nobody will ever know. And that made me feel real good. So I'm enjoying these paints so far. You can't tell anymore, says Cece, and that was my goal. I am so relieved by that. Also, I'm drinking a new coffee today. Today's coffee is, I believe it was grown in Colombia and roasted in Toronto. And it's got a nice, like, dark chocolate vibe. Like, it's got, like, a cocoa-iness to it, but, like, a nice bitter dark cocoa. But it's not a super dark roast. So it's like a mid-roast with, like, dark cocoa, and then a little bit of, I would say, like a fruity acid, maybe, like, a apricot acidity? Yeah, like an apricot-y acidity, which is nice compared to the apricot that I tried to eat today, which was one of those, like, I got a thing of the less expensive supermarket range ripen at home apricots. They've been here since Saturday, and I figured since one of them was starting to go off and I had to throw it away, I was like, they're probably ripe enough to eat by now, right? I took a big bite out of one for my afternoon snack today, and it was so absolutely sour that I couldn't eat it. I took the rest of it and tried to, like, macerate it with a little bit of, like, a sprinkling of sugar on it. And, yeah, no, still, like, inedibly sour. I think I might have to just, like, use them to make a tiny amount of jam or something. There's only four or five of them left. So that is a tiny amount of apricots to try and make jam out of. But, I mean, it would be a very good tiny amount of jam, so I might just do that. Because they are too sour for me to, like, comfortably eat, I would say, at this point. And I don't want them to go to waste. But, yeah, Romoth says ripen at home is such a scam. It really, you know... Ripeness, I understand, is a hard thing for supermarkets to nail because fruits and vegetables come from nature, and especially things that do have different stages of ripeness, like a lot of stone fruits like peaches, apricots, nectarines, plums, that kind of thing, and avocados and bananas as well, you know. It's hard to nail that, like, perfect range of ripeness with all of your product for all of your consumers. But yeah, the ripen at home stuff can be quite challenging because it's like, okay, I'm ready to eat this, but it's not ready to eat. What do I do? And then you end up having to change all of your plans and blah blah blah, or you just eat something that's just not quite right. But yeah, a little jar of jam for tiny little creatures, maybe. Ooh, you know, I do have these little glass pots. I do have the little glass pots that, like, the expensive yogurt come in. And they do have lids. So I might just make a little glass pot of apricot jam. It's about 2 tablespoons worth of stuff. I keep those jars because they're quite useful for making things like salad dressings and what have you. But yeah, I do also, I just love when yogurts come in, like, reusable containers of some kind. I have, like, a couple of these French ones that come in little ceramic pots. I have one that's like pastel pink and the other one is like a matcha green, and they're so cute and they're so nice to eat yogurt out of, and I'll probably never buy the yogurt again because I don't want to have too many ceramic pots, but it was very tasty yogurt. Also, if memory serves, it was very expensive yogurt because it's probably like 2 or 3 pounds for a single serve of yogurt, which as far as I'm concerned is too expensive. Yeah, what was I saying? Romoth says, I can usually handle slightly unripened, but if you give me a green banana, you're out of here. Green bananas have this, like, astringency that's very unpleasant. I also don't like an overripe banana, personally, so there's, like, a very slim window of banana ripeness that I feel comfortable with. Cece says nothing worse than opening an unripe avocado. Oh, it's so annoying. It's so frustrating. It's like, I'm not going to be able to put this on toast. It's just going to be bad. And then what do you do with it? Because it oxidizes and it just goes... Anyways, my moderator / spouse is home, so I'm going to go say hi to him. I'll be back in just a second, chat. Hi, baby.
I would argue typhoid is probably worse than a slightly unripe avocado, but
Barely.
I mean, also an overly mouldy avocado.
Yeah, I mean, that's nasty. No, it's not nasty. How are you doing? Okay?
Very tired, yes.
Maybe have a cup of tea. I love you, sweetie. Welcome home. Okay. I have welcomed home my moderator / spouse. I shall continue painting now, and I shall catch up with chat. Yeah, you literally can't do anything with them at that point. Yeah, there's something... So I don't know about where other folks live, but where I live, you can oftentimes find at the supermarket what they market as a, quote, perfectly ripe avocado. The idea being that this avocado is, the day that you buy it, expected to be at, like, the perfect amount of ripeness to be soft enough to slice or mash or do whatever you want with, right? Not always true. I have had instances of buying the perfectly ripe avocados and finding that they are rock solid, and it's not always easy to tell from the outside of the, like, avocado skin. Sometimes it feels like it's giving, like it's got a little bit of, like, yield and softness to it, and then you cut into it and it's like, oh no, this is crunchy on the inside. No, then you just got nothing. Anyways, hi, Sunshine. Yes, love.
Two things. Have we changed the calendar?
We have not. Oh, yes. So, it's the 8th of June, and our calendar in the studio is still set to the month of May. So, I'm going to flip it over.
Well, so Mother says thank you for the gift.
Oh, yay. Okay, so, dun 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 dun.
Nice.
Ta-da! It's a little seaside town scene. This is the calendar they got us this year. It's a little seaside town scene. Very sweet. I am a fan. Cuteness! Anyways. You can leave the light on. Alright. Aw, cute, says Robot. Yeah, it's precious. They usually give us either something sort of like a nice scenes like this, or something like baby animals, which is also very pleasant. I'm a fan. I also like, as like a yearly tradition, getting a gift of a calendar as a Christmas gift is really nice. Because it's not something that that I would otherwise think to purchase for myself, but it is a nice thing to have. And as you can tell, I look at it very regularly and register the fact that one month has ended and another has begun, because it's taken a week. It's taken a week to switch the calendar over. Oh no. Rainbow Town says Jenga. Hi Jenga, welcome in, how are you doing? It's lovely to see you, welcome. Okay, I feel like I've missed some things in chat, so I will catch up. We were talking about avocados and how you have to plan your life around them, but sometimes they just don't work. The ones that just never ripen. Yes, the ones that the avocados that just stay hard forever. It's so frustrating. Probably because they were picked off of the avocado tree too soon, I would assume. What kind of evil scientist created that, says Roboth? I don't know, but I'm very sad. This is a horror story. Yeah, exactly. It's so depressing. It's so depressing. To be honest, I do not, despite being a millennial, I don't actually buy avocados that often. I will buy like 1 to 2 avocados every, maybe 3 months. have 2 instances of avocado toast, and that's about it. I do have guacamole sometimes, but most of the time that I have guac, it's in the context of buying the Tex-Mex dip trio at the supermarket because I'm making something vaguely taco or burrito related, and I want to have some salsa and sour cream with it. And the supermarket Tex-Mex dip trio also comes with guac. Do I think that the supermarket guac is very good? No, I think the supermarket guac is mid, but it's not as bad as supermarket guac that I've encountered elsewhere in the United Kingdom where they add like mayonnaise to it for some crazy reason. The avocado is already creamy. Why are you... No, don't do that. Anyways, just gonna do some work lurking. Happy I got to see you working on this, says Jenga. Aw, thank you. Have a lovely work lurk, my friend. I very appreciate it. I do. We are very lurker appreciating in this stream. Pretty much the same, says Romoth. Like we've been discussing, avocados just stress me out. Yeah, they're just you have to plan around them too much. I don't want to find myself in a situation where it was like, okay, I have to rethink my lunch because the star ingredient is not ready today, and I'm not going to be at home to eat lunch tomorrow because I'm in meetings all day or something. And now I have found myself in some kind of nightmare position where, well, I can't eat the avocado today because today it's not ripe enough, but, you know, it might, if I wait until the day after tomorrow, because I can't have it tomorrow when it's probably going to be perfectly ripe, it might be starting to go a little bit funky in the other direction. Frustrating. Anyways. I'm gonna make myself some food, says Cece. All of this talk about food is making me hungry. I hope you have a lovely stream. Thank you so much indeed, and thank you again for the raid. I very much appreciate it, and I hope you have a lovely meal as well. That sounds like an excellent idea. I will be making dinner after stream today. I will be having what I like doing reasonably low effort meals on days that I stream, just because I usually have less time to cook after streaming. And usually also less energy. So today I'm having what we like to call kids menu in this house, because it is like some fish fingers, and in this case I think probably some like these little like cauliflower bites that my supermarket do that are gluten-free and pretty dang tasty. So I'm looking forward to that. Okay, so far these buildings look weird. But this is just the starters. Actually, I think that this shade of red is so... But my camera does not speak red very well. I just would like to put it out there that this is in real life, this is a beautiful, vibrant scarlet red. On camera, for some reason, it's showing up as kind of a slightly rusty orange, I feel like, at least on my monitor. Like on my streaming software, that's what it looks like to me. Which is really, really stinking odd. And I do find a little bit frustrating. This is a reasonably brighter palette than I often have been using these days, actually. I felt like a nice bright kind of straight ahead rainbow spectrum palette made the most sense, because this was going to be a very rainbowy piece. So I'm not doing anything with the color. But why does that look so much less bright and properly red on camera? Because yeah, that looks orange on my weird. No, just in progress. I mean, that does genuinely look much more orange on at least my monitor than it does IRL. I'm actually going to pull up, if I can, I'm going to see if I can pull up the actual paint itself on like the... Oh, great. Oh, just wonderful. The brand that I bought of this paint, well, they're having a sale on from the art shop that I buy most of my art supplies from now. sometime after I made this purchase. That's annoying. Oh man, that's a really good savings too. Damn it, I probably could have saved not insignificant amount of money on these. Yay! Oh, wonder. Well, I love that for me. But let's see if I can show you. Where is? There we go. Okay. All right. At least I can show you what the paint looks like. When did you buy them? How recently? Says Jenga. It was like probably a little over a month ago, unfortunately. So, so yeah, too long ago to like return and then rebuy. I think, but whatever. It's so it goes. Sales are always happening. Rose says, yeah, when I show my art to people from pictures, I'm always like, but it looks better in person. I know that feeling so well. I do. I usually think, no matter how much tweaking I do in post to try and make sure that, like, the digital versions of my art look as good as the traditional versions of my art, like the physical ones that I actually painted, there's a certain dimension to seeing it IRL that I think makes it look slightly better. I think it's grabbed just to sue. I don't think I'm going to be suing, but thank you for the support. In any case, I don't mind. Again, you know, like, these were like £4 each regular price, so it's not that expensive anyways. It's just, it's the principle of the thing. Anyways, this is what the color is supposed to look like. And I can attest to the fact that this is fairly close to what it's actually brighter than this than it looks there in real life. Also, I do buy most of my art supplies from Jackson's, as you can see, not sponsored. But I do think that they're a pretty good art retailer. Anyways, Pigeon, hello. It's lovely to see you. Welcome in. Hello. I hope that you are well. I'm going to take a sip of my tea, which is lemon. That is stone cold, just how I like it. It is. I did prepare it as an iced tea, so I expected it to be stone cold. And it is. Okay, I'm just going to very carefully wipe as much of the red paint off of this bad boy as I can. Then clean. My paint water is looking very undelicious at the moment. Which is probably good. Oh my goodness, there's so much paint stuck in this brush now. Get out, darn paint. Okay, I think we've about done it. I can get our next color, which is orangey, stone cold like Steve Austin. Yeah, and full of lemons, which I assume he also is. Anyways. I hope you're well. I hope you had a good weekend. I did have a good weekend, I think, if memory serves. What did I do this weekend? It's all a blur. I think I mostly played Tomodachi Life, a little bit of Silk Song, and painted. I had a pretty chill, I don't want to do too much weekend in general. And that was oh, yeah, that's the other thing that I did. I baked and ate a birthday cake. Now, older viewers may remember that my birthday was like 2 weeks ago now. On the 25th. But on the 25th, it was hotter than the depths of hell here in sunny Oxfordshire. And so I was unable to actually bake myself a cake on that day. And I do, as a tradition, normally bake myself a cake every birthday. But it was way too darn hot, so I did not do it this year. And I made myself very sad not getting to make a birthday cake on my birthday. So this weekend, I decided, okay, the temperature's gone down enough. I can safely bake a cake. And so I baked myself a birthday cake as a result. And I can show you said birthday cake, which looks like this. Sorry, the photo's on my phone, so it's kind of blurry. Will you come into focus at least, please? There we go. Okay. So this is a chocolate and raspberry cake. It's a chocolate sponge with raspberry jam, cream, fresh raspberries, and then another layer of chocolate sponge with more raspberry jam, more whipped cream, more fresh raspberries, and also a sprinkling of, and I'm sorry to any Dutch speakers in the audience today, hagelslag, because I had a box left over from the last time I visited Amsterdam. Fun fact, that box of chocolate sprinkles, which, if you've ever been to the Netherlands, and you've been to a supermarket in the Netherlands, you will know that there is an entire bank of shelves in the supermarket given over entirely to different types of chocolate sprinkles, because it is a popular snack to have like a piece of bread with probably some butter and then chocolate sprinkles on the top. Well, as you mentioned that, we do love our hagelslag. Yeah, exactly. Again, super apologies for the pronunciation. I don't really remember any Dutch, I'm sorry. Netherlands mentioned, says Silver Moon Lace. Hell yeah. Also, hello, welcome in. But yes, I love it too. It made a lovely cake decoration for my birthday cake. But with that being said, I do have precious memories of my my suitcase being selected for better than most of the pronunciation. Aw, thank you. I tried my best. What was I gonna say? Have you been in the trams? Of course, I love trams. I had a wonderful time on the trams. I am a tram enjoyer. As older viewers may remember, I enjoy a good tram. What was I going to say? Oh yeah, so when I was leaving Amsterdam in the airport and went through security, they selected my suitcase to search, and I was like, oh, nervous. Not that there's anything that I'm not allowed to have in my suitcase. I just I feel so perceived and whatever. Anyways, opens the suitcase, takes out the box of sprinkles, like swabs the box of sprinkles, and is like, okay, you could go. And I'm like, the box of sprinkles was the suspicious thing that you saw in the x-ray? Surely I'm not the only person who leaves the Netherlands with a box of chocolate sprinkles. Like, it's a very popular ingredient here. What the heck? I love the trams and Silver Moon Lace. Tramsterdam, hell yeah! Rose says, smuggling hagelslag. So it was you. It was me. Bringing just, so dangerous. Bringing home a box of chocolate sprinkles, which are genuinely very fun and yummy, and I liked getting to put them on my birthday cake. I thought they made my birthday cake very festive and fun. I look forward to using the rest of the box now, which, because I think I used up very little of it, it turns out. There's so much left. Oh boy! There's gonna be a lot of chocolate sprinkles in my future. Maybe, what else can I put chocolate sprinkles on? Besides the obvious bread, which I eat less just straight ahead bread of these days because I can't have gluten. So I need to find alternatives. Anyways, but yes. Pigeon, thank you very much for the 10 stream steak. Oh my goodness, enjoy your 10 steaks. That's super rad. Thank you. I'm gonna have a quick look at my reference image for this little community of houses. Also, this was a screenshot from I've been playing Tomodachi Life, and I'm basically just recreating the cast of Deep Space Nine on my like personal save. And just so you know, come on, focus. There's my thumb. Thumb for scale, please focus. There we go. You can't really read it, but anyways, this is now the O'Brien polycule, and they all live together, and I'm very happy about that. That happened today, and I was like, yay! When one of my characters was like, I would like to go live with O'Brien, and I was like, okay, but are you gonna, because I think it was Major Kira was like, I'd like to go live with O'Brien, but she was also already living with Odo, because they'd moved in together, because they were besties, and then they started dating, and then I was like, oh, is she gonna leave Odo if she goes to move into the O'Briens' house? And no, she brought Odo with her, and I was like, yay! Polycule! Pigeon says, I'm obsessed with Tomodachi Life. I don't own it, but I love watching it. It's super fun. It's so fun. It's so silly. I had no plans to buy it, but then my beautiful moderator / spouse, got a, got a copy of it for me for my birthday, which was so stinking sweet. So now I play it every day and it's really fun. Anyways, so this is the inspiration street. So I can see that there's okay. So I can see what I want to do with the orange here because I want to try and more or less recreate what we've got going on in the original, except have it be in the colors of the Rainbow Pride. Because why? Because fun. And I'm having fun with this. This is a delightful good time. Okay. How am I doing here? Hopefully, okay. The hunch position of your avatar is hilarious, by the way, adorable. Oh, that's just how my spine does when I'm painting. That's just what I look like right now. It's fine, don't worry about it. I'm okay. It's probably not good in the long run, but I'm used to it. I think I've long since come to accept the fact that I'll probably have like a hunchback when I'm very, very old, but I'll be very, very old. What do I care at that point? The perfect prawn posture of the PNG tube versus this pigeon. Yeah, thank you. It's so it goes. Rose says I be in the prawn posture all the time, especially because of my height. Yeah, mood. Is that because you're very tall or very short? Because I'm 5 feet tall, but I still have terrible posture, and I always have. Rose is the youngest of 4 siblings. I got used to watching others play games, and Tomodachi is a great one to watch. Yes! Oh my god! Okay, youngest kid enjoys watching other people play video games. Watching my older brother play video games is how I experienced so many video games growing up. Like, so much. It was a rare delight when my brother was not around and I got to have my own save of Final Fantasy II. Which I later learned was Final Fantasy IV, actually. But it was originally released in North America as Final Fantasy II, so that's what I knew it as at the time. Anyways. I'm 6'10". I look like a rainbow when I wash dishes. Wow! That is the opposite of me. That is literally the opposite of me. I feel like it would be fun to stand next to each other. But I feel like you must hate the countertop heights of most homes and desks and what have you, for the opposite reasons of me, and I'm so sorry. Pigeon says, I'm a middle child, it explains a lot, and I too was subjected to a lot of my brother playing games. Yup, absolutely. Final Fantasy IV, such a good game. I loved that game so much. That was like my introduction to that sort of like narrative video game, and I loved it so very much. It was such a good story. I like the I remember actually when a friend of my older brother's, who was also by extension a friend of mine because he was a cool dude, got whichever games console you could play the original Final Fantasy VII on. And I remember seeing Final Fantasy VII, having played what it turns out are canonically Final Fantasies 4 and 6, and loving both of those games immensely, and being like, I think these graphics are too fancy. I prefer the, like, more pixely 2D graphics to this. This is too 3D for me. So I didn't really get into Final Fantasy VII for a very, very long time, even though I understand it's like the foundational Final Fantasy for so many people that I'm like, I mean, I get it, but also my foundational Final Fantasy, maybe just because I'm that much older and then my brother is 5 years older than me. Yeah. Tall people have it so rough when it comes to using computers situated on typically sized desks, says Pigeon. Ah. Cecil was one of my first favorite characters, says Ro, and Kane. Yes, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, the storyline, the character growth, it's such a good story. Oh yes, and Rydea, the green girl who had like magic powers where she could summon different creatures and stuff. I thought that was such a cool power. I really liked that character, and I liked what she could do as a character in like combat and stuff as well. It was very fun. Pigeon says, never come to London. It's not built for people, let alone tall people. Ooh, yeah, I would imagine standing on the tube would be god-awful if you're tall. Oh, Rose says, I grew up in Kent. It's like a toy village for me. Oh, no, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Oh, the quaint villages with the like medieval buildings with the even smaller than usual doors. I mean, personally, I indulge in a little bit of, like, absolute delight when I encounter a doorway that feels like it was made for me. But I can understand that being deeply frustrating for anyone else. So, I'm so sorry. Okay, I think what I need to do is come up to here. And then this bit is a little fiddly because this is kind of a funky little bay window situation. I also haven't fully decided how I'm going to do the line weight on this piece. Because normally when I do line weight on watercolor stuff, I will use the same color but like a darker value. I don't really have that available to me with this piece, so I'm not sure what I'll do. Yay! Oh, goodness gracious. My shoulders literally touched the train ceilings. Oh no, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. It sucks when the world was not, when you're not the average person the world was built for. It really does. Rose says, so I grew up in Kent, then moved to Wales, even smaller people, and they were very strange sometimes. I have supposedly some percentage of Welsh ancestry, but I've never lived there, but I do like to visit. And I do love a good Welsh cake. Very much I do. And I think the language is lovely. Oh man, I miss Welsh cakes. There's a place in Cardiff that does gluten-free Welsh cakes, but it feels like an indulgence having like 6 gluten-free Welsh cakes delivered from that far away. But do I want to? I mean, yes, obviously I do now that I've said it out loud, but should I? Yes, now that I've said it out loud, I definitely should. But should I really? Yes, definitely. I'm talking myself into it the more I think about it. Oh no. Well, there might be some gluten-free Welsh cakes in my future then. Oh dear. It's a beautiful countryside, says Ro. It really is. It's a lovely country. Wales, beautiful. Welsh people, strange little weirdos. Well, maybe, you know what, maybe that's the side of the family that I get my weirdness from, I don't know. I mean, my dad does love Star Trek, and builds model airplanes, and makes little noises, and is a lovely person. Incidentally, both sides of the other side of my family is Hungarian. Everyone in my family pretty much is incredibly short. We are a family of short asses. My dad, I think at this point, I mean, he's shrunk. I think he used to be probably like 5'5", 5'6". I swear he's shrinking. So I don't know how tall he is, but he feels like he's getting tinier and tinier every time I see him. My mother is the same height as me, but more delicate and bird-like, whereas I'm sturdy and robust. Star Trek is pretty fire, says Ro. Hell yeah. Here, have a Jadzia. And actually, for that matter, have a Miles O'Brien. And now that I mention it, I also have a small little family of Star Trek plushies. Here's Data. He says hello. Hello. And here's his bestie, Geordi, who says hello. Hey. They're just hanging out on top of the fabric stash that at some point I am going to sew into an 18th century wrapping gown. OMG Data, says Pigeon. They're so cute. They're so cute, and I love them so much, and they're very nice for cuddles. They're the perfect size for a little cuddle. Also, they're very soft. And I like their little outfits. I keep meaning to sew extra outfits for them. But even more so than extra little outfits for Geordi and Data, I also really need to make extra little outfits for Garak and Dr. Bashir. I need to make them little suits to do little holodeck spy adventures in. Anyways, so yeah. Sherlock Holmes outfit for Data. I think I might have some scrap fabric that might work for that, actually. Like, I genuinely might. I'm gonna have a look. Thank you for the 5-stream steak, Q2s, and thank you also for the hydrate. You have no idea how much I needed it. I shall do that right now. I think I'm encountering a bit of a Trekkie, says Ro, and I am vibing. Yay! You definitely are. Thank you for the lurk, Q2s. Much appreciation. Much appreciated. Sorry, I've calmed down now, says Pigeon. It's okay. I am feeling the exact same. Jenga says, my mom was 5'2", and when she passed, she was 4'10". Oh, damn, that's many inches. That's many inches. I wonder how tiny I'll get. Probably Yoda-sized. My goodness gracious. But, yes. DS9 is my favorite, says Pigeon. Me too. Me too. It's the best one, in my opinion. For me. I feel like it also has, Happy Pride Month, everybody. I feel like it also has, like, generally, for me anyways, like, the queerest in vibes. I feel like even when production is actively trying to not do this, I feel like the vibes are the queerest. Maybe I will finally get to 6 foot one day, says Ro. One can only dream. I've mostly watched the OG series, says Ro. Ah, delightful. Absolutely delightful. I do not have any plushies of the OGs, but I do not love them any less for it. For me, Star Trek and Doctor Who for queer vibes, says Ro. Yes. Definitely some queer vibes from the Doctor Who as well. There was actually I was watching a video. Someone did a list of their top 10 worst cliffhangers in Doctor Who. And it was the list itself was all like post 2005 like modern Doctor Who, but I'm so grateful that she did mention the 1980s Sylvester McCoy episode where he literally just climbs over like a railing and then hangs off of a cliff at the end of the episode, and then the credits roll. It's a literal cliffhanger. If you haven't seen it, it is bizarre and makes no sense. Apparently there was like a scene that was cut from the broadcast episode that actually explained why he ends up hanging off of the cliff, but for some reason they cut that. So it just feels like peril for the sake of peril with absolutely no explanation as to what he's doing down there. It's so silly. But, yeah. It was so stupid and it is iconic now. Sometimes things are so stupid that they become wonderful. And I feel like that is definitely one of those that was so stupid it has become wonderful. And I love that. Yes. Anywho. It's time to paint the next building yellow. I'm hoping that at the very least with today's stream I can finish painting the rainbow and then work on the details next time. I think we can do that anyways. So this bad boy is yellow. And hopefully should be fairly straightforward to do. I notice on my reference photo that there's actually kind of a little strip of white just above all of these window frames. So I'm going to leave that unpainted so I can paint it white later when I do all of my little white details. Anywho, I will at some point, hopefully, because I started writing all of them, be doing some Trek-related stuff, and reviews of very old Star Trek episodes from like 30 years ago on my YouTube channel. But I haven't done any of that yet, but if you want to pre-subscribe now, it's free, and I also do other neat things on there. Anyways. Pigeon says, I've said in other places that I'm not a Doctor Who fan, and someone genuinely told me you can't be that gay then. Hey! Oh dear. That's a very silly thing to say. Oh, excuse me. Anyways, oh dear, oh dear. I kind of, I'm in kind of a weird place with Doctor Who because I used to be a very big Doctor Who fan, to the extent that I was like a semi-professional Doctor Who fan. In as much as I did less so reviews and more like related articles, like interviews, listicles, and sometimes I got to go to events related to it, as an entertainment journalista, which I no longer do. And haven't done for many, many years, and kind of dropped off watching the show. But I had seen all of it up to one of the Whittaker episodes. It was like a cliffhanger, I think. But yeah, some of those Doctor Who fans are a bit unpleasant. Yeah, I think anytime you have like a fan group that gets large enough, there will be a contingent of people who are how shall I say, shitty, which is really unfortunate, but so it goes. And especially for something as long running as that, you end up in a situation where like, I think sometimes, and you see this with Star Trek as well, and Star Wars and all of the things, is that like, I remember what it was like when I was a child, and now I'm 45 years old, and I'm mad that this new iteration of the thing that I watched when I was 10 and still like as an adult now doesn't feel like it's for me, and that makes me mad. It's like, okay. Alright, well, you know, like, you're allowed to feel that, but also, you're right, it isn't for you. So, like, you can like the other stuff and not like the new stuff, and it doesn't mean that the new stuff is inherently bad, it just means that it's not for you personally. With that being said, I really did not like Chibnall's Doctor Who and haven't really picked it up since then. But yeah, I was going to pick back, I think I actually mentioned this on stream recently, I was going to try and pick back up to catch up at some point with the Nshuti Gatwa series, and then I heard that the ending was really bad, and I was like, oh, if I know that the ending is really bad, is that going to pre-ruin the rest of it for me? And I can't muster the enthusiasm to go back and watch it. Because, yeah, Rose says, I dropped off after Capaldi. I liked Jodie as an actor, but I just didn't enjoy the series plots. Yeah, I think Jodie Whittaker is a fantastic actor. I think the other actors that I saw in her series are also very good. The one episode that was, like, the almost I don't want to watch this anymore for me, or the I stopped watching it for several months after this episode, was the one where they go to the, like, space Amazon factory, and the messaging of that episode was just so confused and confusing that it ends up basically being basically telling us that this place is incredibly dystopian, but also ending up being kind of Amazon apologism, and the messaging of it just felt very bad, and uncomfortable, and like it didn't really know what it was saying, but what it did end up saying was, I thought, pretty bad for our hero. So I didn't like that. And I disliked it to the point that I stopped watching the show because I was like, no, this made me mad and I don't want to keep watching it. And then I did come back and watch subsequent episodes because I felt like I was missing out, and, I had a lot of friends who enjoyed it, blah, blah, blah. And then we got to there's a two-parter. I don't necessarily want to spoil it for anyone who hasn't seen it and might enjoy it, because a lot of people did enjoy it. So I don't want to say that, like, you can't have enjoyed it or you're wrong if you did. It just wasn't for me personally. But there was like a two-parter episode where there's the master, and the doctor is like trapped in some kind of stasis while the master monologues to her about her backstory. And yeah, I hated that. I hated both the execution and what it did to, like, the lore. And then apparently they don't really do anything with that subsequently, which seems like a weird move to make such a massive sweeping change to the whole, like, lore of the show and then just kind of drop it is a weird move. And so yeah, not mega interested in resuming that at that point, because I just didn't think it was very good. I'm sorry. And it feels really I really wanted to be in support. Ew, monologue, sis bitch, and it was just not very good. It was not very good from very good actors, which is another very frustrating thing. Rose says, yeah, to be honest, I mostly just watch my favorite episodes now. I usually don't watch a whole series anymore. That is very fair. And I think with these guys, you can kind of get away with it with a lot of the more episodic plots of episodes anyway. So, like, who cares? Like, it's fine. But also, that's another thing. If a long-running series that is quite episodic starts to do things that you're not as much of a fan of, you can just not watch the new stuff. You can just go back and watch the old stuff, and that's also fine. But yes, part of what really annoyed me about the fact that that I was not a fan of, like, Whittaker's Doctor Who era generally is the fact that I remember when her casting announcement was made. You know how I was talking earlier about dropping people when they just, like, when they as what I was saying earlier was, like, when people do, like, crappy sponsorships, but also just generally when people reveal really crappy opinions. There was someone that I was mutuals with on many different social media, and acquaintances, if not, like, vaguely friends with, and I just dropped from everywhere because her reaction to the announcement that Jodie Whittaker had been cast as Doctor Who was PC bullshit. I hate the show now, and I'm like, wow, so you actually suck. What a stupid response. And yeah, that felt like a case of, like, I'm older and this show is no longer for me, and I'm gonna be mad about it. It's like, okay. We didn't even know that, like, Chibnall's plots were going to be garbage at that point. So it wasn't that. It was just the fact that it was a lady and she felt like that was PC and stupid, and I'm like, oh, whatever. Well, your opinion is stupid. Anyways, I'm so for such a cozy streamer, I'm very spicy about my opinion sometimes. But honestly, good for me. Because my opinions are great. Anywho. But yeah, Rose says, Silence in the Library, Forest of the Dead for me is still some of the best TV ever. Those ones were really good. Speaking of seriousness, Pigeon, I finally got around to watching The Mandalorian with Mumsy, and we enjoyed it very much. Hyped for the movie now. Oh, nice. Nice, nice. I think I saw the first 2 seasons of The Mandalorian, and then we kind of stopped watching TV and then canceled Disney Plus because we weren't watching TV. But I definitely enjoyed, like, especially the first season. I thought was very, very good. And I like the main character. I like Go-Gurt. There was this one character who showed up like once in that show and then once in the Boba Fett show that was kind of the Mandalorian 2.5. I really liked that guy. I wanted to see more of that guy. But anyways, Family of Blood, amazing episodes. Yes, very good. Based on a book, I think, if memory serves. I can't remember who wrote the book. It's probably... Oh, it's definitely somebody I know. This is embarrassing. But anyways... an ad break is coming up in like 2 minutes. I'm gonna have to look up who wrote the book, because it's gonna bother, and because it's definitely someone I know as well. Oh no. Oh yeah, it was Paul Cornell. Sorry, Paul. Not that he watches my YouTube channel. Anyways. Heck. But the book is like from the wilderness years, so it was based on the novel that he'd written, but the novel predates. Hi, Paul, says Ro. The novel predates the like 2005 series, so I think so the story will be slightly different, and it's a different Doctor. I think it's 7. I think it's the 7th Doctor, because obviously David Tennant hadn't been Doctor Who at that point. So it is a somewhat different story, and there's different characters in it, but it's the same principle, which I think is a really neat idea to explore. Anyways, okay, I'm going to attempt to clean my paintbrush, and whilst we are on a brief hiatus for the advertisements, I think I'm going to go change my paint water, because it is, as you can see by the opacity of it, extremely nasty. And my poor paintbrush needs a proper clean. So I shall do so in about 10 seconds. And I shall thank you again for hanging out and for sticking through the ads. You're not going to miss anything because I just stick up a BRB screen. A paint shot. No! I have actual beverages to drink. I've got a delicious lemon tea here. Anyways, I'm going to run before anyone misses anything. Because I don't want anybody to miss anything. So I shall BRB. Hello, friends, I returned. Sorry if that took me an extra minute. I was helping my moderator/spouse with today's Wordle puzzle. I will not give away what the word is. Please don't give away the word in chat, just in case anyone does the puzzle and hasn't done it yet. But that was a real humdinger to solve. Like, yikes. Anyways. I have missed some chat. I have missed some chat in my absence, so let me catch up. I have done that by accident, says Ro. You know, I've come close, but that's part of the reason that... Oh, shoot, I left my paint water in the other room. Hold. Hold, please. Oh, no, where's my paint? Heck, okay. Alright, I have my... I left my paint water in the other room. I'm so sorry. Was the word meese? No, and I'm not telling you what it was, and I'm asking chat to not say what it was. I will not confirm or deny either way if anyone tries to put words in the chat. And if anyone does spoil, I will delete your comment. I don't want to have to do that. But yeah, what I was going to say is, Pigeon says I've started putting my paint water in a weirdly shaped jar. Yeah, that's part of the reason that I use a film container. This is, if you don't know, this little containy is the type of little container that is used to contain a roll of 35mm film. I'm also a film photographer when I'm not painting. That's another of my artistic media. And even though I never post my photography anywhere anymore, I'm thinking of creating like a second social media account to post photography on, because I feel like trying to, not that it matters anyways, because no matter what I do, none of my shit gets engagement on Instagram, so it doesn't matter if my brand identity is consistent or not, does it? Nobody likes anything I post anyways. I'm not saying because it's bad. I'm saying because Instagram is a terrible place and it's really hard to get traction on there, and I've given up. Anyways. But, yes, paint water. That's part of the reason that I use a 35mm paint film container to hold my paint water, is that it looks nothing like my mugs. So it's very difficult to confuse the two. Helps you not sip, says Pigeon. Yes, exactly. But you're missing your key essential nutrients, says Ro. All my colorful vitamins and minerals, says Pigeon. This paint is not a good way to get your minerals. It's just not. Like, I know you need a certain amount of manganese in your diet and you need a certain amount of chromium, but, like, consuming manganese violet and chromium orange is not the way to get it. I swear to gosh, don't do it. Anyways, Rose says, our guts need a healthy layer of acrylic, keeps the system ticking along. And Pigeon says, as someone with IBD, I need this very much. Please don't get it from paint. Please don't. It's not good for you. I promise you it ain't. Now, I may not be a nutritionist, but I know this much. Paint is not a healthy alternative to, you know, like, a balanced diet, and all that jazz. Anyways, please look after yourselves, genuinely. Eat a varied diet with as much plant-based stuff as you can, depending on, you know, obviously if you have certain conditions that preclude you from being able to eat certain things, don't eat those things. And just, yeah, look after yourselves. You're important. Your well-being is important, and I hope that you are good. But if not good for me, why so pretty, says Pigeon. You know, when I was a young child, I did always, I did thirst for the, like, the bright pink or bright blue colored, like, windshield washer fluid, big jugs that they would have for sale at the petrol station when we would go fill up the car, and I would see these, like, big jugs of extremely colorful liquid, and I was just like, oh man, I bet those taste really good. I wanted to try them so bad. It does look yummers, says Ro. I know, right? It looks so delicious, but it's not. I promise you it ain't. Don't you do it. It's a bad idea. Anyways, for my green, I am actually combining some of my, like, more turquoisey green with a bit of this yellow, because the green that comes with this selection of paints that I bought is a little bit like the green as opposed to the bluish green, and this is a much more, the green that I've put down here is more like, oh shoot, where did it go? Which one is it in? It's not this one. It's the, I've got too many boxes and they all look the same. Anyways, I think it's in this box. The green that came with the set, it's like leek green, and it's like a nice, but it's a little bit sappy of a green, so it's a little bit more washed out. Though, to be honest, I probably could have gotten it, but you see what I mean? It's got a little bit of, like, a slightly more vibrant sap green, whereas this is, like, much too blue in and of itself. So, what I have done here is to take some of my nice bright yellow and combine it with my sort of patina, like, teal color to create a nice, vibrant green. And hopefully it will have worked. Let's find out. Anyways, I do like me a good green, says Ro. Me too. It's like citrus-scented shampoo. I stand there thinking, but it smells so good, and it does say natural. But don't you do it. Don't you do it. Just trust me on this. Don't you do it. Okay? Stay safe. As the Black Forager says at the end of all her videos, happy snacking, don't die. And I would really feel sad if any of you got tummy aches or the throw-ups or the whatevers because you went ahead and consumed non-food items because they looked delicious. Just because those dice look like a forbidden snack does not mean that you should be chowing down on a D10. Trust me. Anyways. I did it many times and I still think about it. Oh, jeez. Pigeon says, I love the Black Forager. She's amazing. Yes, if you have not, she's on YouTube. I don't know if she's anywhere else. But if you have not seen the Black Forager on YouTube, she does delightful videos, where she will, talk about different, like, edible plants that you may find in your area, how to identify them and what they taste like, and sometimes what you can do with them. But she will also she does this little series called Poison or Snack, which is absolutely delightful, where she will take two plants that are, like, similar and stuff. She's on Instagram as well. Ah, sweet. And the username is just the Black Forager, so if you want to go check her out, I recommend it. She's absolutely wonderful. She'll take two similar looking plants, like maybe they have, like, they both have, like, little white berries, and she'll compare what the different plants, what the stems look like, what the leaves look like, what the berries look like, yada yada yada, and then ask you to guess which one do you think is poison and which one do you think is a yummy snack, and then you get to guess which one you think is poison and which one you think is a yummy snack. And then she will tell you the answer. And she will describe which one is which, and what it tastes like, and, what the other one is, and why you shouldn't eat it. It's a good time. It's a good time. It's a delightful series. It's educational and fun, and I love a good edutainment, source, so I very much enjoy that. Not that I have the bravery, really, to forage for much of anything. Unless it's, like, the closest I've come to foraging was probably, like, there was a mulberry tree in the back garden of my grandmother's neighbors, and much of the tree, like, foliage hung over onto my grandmother's side of the fence. So when the mulberries were in season, we got free mulberries out of it. And they are delicious and safe to eat. Which is a great old combination. I love a tasty and safe food. But also, the only, I don't know if that counts as foraging, because it's just like, it's in my grandmother's garden. So I don't know whether or not that counts. But it feels verging on close enough to me. The other one is the crabapple tree, in the, I don't know whether or not it's still there, in the neighboring back garden to my parents' back garden, which again had a significant amount of foliage overhang, so it was really easy to just pick crab apples off of the side of the tree that hung into my parents' garden. And so I would get crab apples off of that and make crab apple jam with them. Crab apple jam, real fiddly and annoying to make, because the crab apples are tiny. And you've got to try and get all of the seeds and stuff out of the middles of them, which is a lot more work when they are, you know, like apples, but really, really tittle. I count it, says Ro. Hell yeah. Thank you. Ro says, I used to forage for seaweed and other aquatic plants. Ah, sweet. Nettles and stuff when I was younger. Ooh, nice. Nice. Nettles. Lovely. There was probably plenty of other stuff in my area that I could have attempted to forage for, but it wasn't a big priority for me when I was younger. And does it count as foraging if it is walking past someone's house that has a raspberry bush, and again, they've got a fence up, but this section of the raspberry bush is on the sidewalk side of the fence. So, like, it's hanging on, like, over onto the sidewalk, and there's a bunch of raspberries, and I pick a raspberry, and I eat a raspberry on my walk to my local, like, corner shop to buy, I don't know, probably toilet tissue and milk, as you do. Um, just a nice free treat for me on the way to, like, Spar. And much better for me than most of the treats that I could buy at Spar. My local little, like, convenience mart, it's got a couple of fruits and vegetables, but it's not exactly a plentiful greengrocer of fruits and vegetables. It's mostly like soup, like tins of soup and cheese strings. So I'll take a fresh raspberry on the way. Why not? Anyways. It's also an annoying enough to get to walk that I rarely go to my local corner shop these days. I will just take the bus to the supermarket and do a bigger shop there. Um, Inevitably, what that means is that I'm just like, okay, I just need to pick up toilet tissue and milk. I'm gonna go to the supermarket to do it, and somehow I find myself having spent like 30 quid. I bought a bunch of stuff that I didn't need. But I mean, it's all stuff that we're gonna use up. It's just not stuff that we even, needed. Probably could have gone without spending money. Anyways, my grandparents had cherry trees, and I ate a whole shopping bag of them one day. The day after was no fun. Oh, jeez. Oh, boy, that's a lot. But they're so good. They're so yummy. I would love that. I remember when my mother used to have a gooseberry bush. They were so good. They were so good. You could make jam out of them, but honestly, like, the nice little red ones were so nice for just snacking. Oh, precious memories of the gooseberry bush. Which, I think my mother doesn't do much with the back garden these days. Oh my goodness. Oh, jeez. When I'm searching the supermarket, that's basically foraging. I found a wild box of cornflakes, says Ro. Yeah, that works. Thank you for the gesundheit. Appreciate it. I'm gonna mute for just a second. I'm sorry. Sorry, I figured you probably didn't want to hear me blowing my nose, so I did it off stream. Anyways, but thank you for your patience. I'm going to take this opportunity just to tell anybody who's watching the stream that this little stream is brought to you by me. I have a shop where you can buy prints and stickers and stuff. I'm super bad at promoting it, but it exists, and it's very silly. Absolutely no pressure. I'm just happy you're here. But if you like the stuff, feel free to, I don't know, tell your friends or whatever. Here's what some of it looks like. This guy's my favorite at the moment. This guy's my favorite at the moment. He's got a boyfriend. Sorry ladies, he's taken. They are indeed dating. Why am I like this? I don't know. Anyways, there's also this one, which is it optionally illuminated in gold, which was really fun to do. If you are a Silksong enjoyer, get a load of this absolute Shaw. I should do more medieval inspired stuff. It was really fun to do. I don't know what else I would do that was medieval inspired, but it's a good time. Anyways, Rose says, yeah, us just shouting health when someone sneezes is so strange. It's such a weird thing. It's a weird thing that we do, that we shout anything when someone sneezes. I've never thought to look up the origins of why we do it, but it is kind of weird. Or indeed that, I mean, I guess in English we bless people when they sneeze. Also weird. Why do we do this? Do you post to the Netherlands? Heck yes, I do. But yeah, why do we shout? I don't know. I'm gonna need to look this up. I need to find out. It's gonna bother me if I don't. But anyways. Enough about that. Let's try and desperately get all of the green out of this. This is one thing that I'm noticing about these gouache paints, is that get a load of this tissue that I'm using as, like, paintbrush wipe thing is that I will sort of, normally doing a lot of this gets out all of the watercolor, and there's still green in here. There's still so much green paint in this brush, it won't go. I don't want to have to get my, like, brush soap out between every single color. That just feels excessive, but I also don't want my blue to be green, you know what I mean? Ugh. Anyways, usually something to do with the devil being in you and trying to bless it out, says Ro. Yeah, that makes sense. That, you know, the fact that you have a cold means that you were possessed or something. I am very unaware of a lot of the origins of a lot of religious traditions because I myself am not a religious individual. And in fact, I don't know if a lot of religious individuals actually know the origins of a lot of these things anyways. It's just kind of becomes a thing that you do as time goes by. So, shrug. Anyways, here's good old ultramarine. Which is, I am an ultramarine enjoyer. But what I find really... Okay, check this out. Check this out. Same with the red. This is not what it looks like in real life. It's having some kind of a problem, because this looks like a sky blue, right? That's not what that looks like in real life. It is ultramarine. If you're familiar with what ultramarine blue looks like, you know what color it is, and it ain't that. The camera is picking it up super weird. Let me see if I can find it on this page. Because I still have the tag open. I still have the tab open, sorry, with the, paint swatches of this range, so, like, okay, that's the color that it is. That's the color that it is. Remember this, and then, that's completely different. Why is my camera being a weirdo? This is so light. It's lightened it by a significant value. Like what? And also brightened it and made it a slightly cooler, like this is getting close to, but not turquoise, but it's getting closer to turquoise than the actual paint is, which is nothing near. It looks like it does on the swatch on the website, I swear to gosh, but on camera, it's reading it really weirdly. I like my ultramarine deep, says Ro, and when I tell you it is deeper than it looks on camera, you just gotta believe me, I guess. Again, when I scan this in, you'll be able to see the rainbow in the actual colors that they are, but for the time being, you're just gonna have to trust me. I find it very annoying, and I think it's more obvious when it's very bright colors like this that this is happening. Yeah, how strange. I don't really know why it does, but then I'm also, I'm a photographer, but I'm not a digital photographer, so anything that is to do with, like, how digital cameras, like my webcam here, read color, and when they do it somewhat incorrectly, which they are doing here, because again, this is, like, I wouldn't say that this is a red-toned blue, really, but it's definitely looking more of, like, a cooler-toned blue, on camera. Is it a big deal? No. Not really. Just an interesting thing to note, I guess. Anyways, I'm still really getting used to how to the ultramarines conspiracy theory activated, says Drew. Yeah, apparently so. I'm still learning how to make gouache not look bad. It's part of the reason that I decided to do this little piece, because it's the stakes are low here. It doesn't, like, as you know, I will cope if it turns out in a way that, like, it's not my favorite piece I've ever done. I would like it to look good when it's done, because it is for Pride Month. But also the concept is fairly simple, and I mostly just wanted something relatively straightforward that I could do a test of these colors with. And I think I've got that, which is a good. I'll be really interested to do like some kind of I'm so distracted by how different the blue looks on camera. I'm sorry. I keep looking up to check and make sure that like my camera feed is still working, because every once in a while the cable just decides to poop itself and stop working, and the picture will freeze and I'll have to like restart it. So I have to keep checking to make sure that it's actually working. But I keep getting distracted every time I look up. I'm like, the colors look so weird. It's really bizarre. Oh well. I don't think it doesn't ruin the piece by any stretch. It's just kind of an interesting phenomenon. I do remember hearing from someone at some point, I think when I was failing to get good results trying to take photos of like poppy flowers with my phone camera at the time, that a lot of the time digital camera sensors have a hard time with very bright reds. And so I suspect that might have something to do with it, but I'm not sure how that explains why it struggles with the ultramarine. Like, is it also having a hard time with very deep blue pigments? Because this is a very intense, saturated blue. I would say quite close to a primary blue. So maybe. I know not. Because it's definitely this red, like this scarlet red really pops in real life. I don't know. Maybe I'll try looking into it, because this is not the first instance that I've had of colors just kind of having a bit of an interesting time with either this camera or the camera that I used before this, which was actually just my phone. I used to just have my phone up on like a little sort of phone tripod thing above the studio desk here. And then I got given this camera. That is what I use now, which is better because it also means that I can use my phone if I need to whilst I'm streaming, which is useful because, you know, in some instances, like today, just before I was about to start stream, I got an unexpected telephone call, which was, it's a good thing that for some reason I had the spidey sense to answer that call, because it was actually like a doctor or a doctor's office. But it was also, you know, just like an unannounced 07 number that I didn't recognize. And if you're not from the UK, an 07 number is just like any mobile number will start with 07. So it was just like, this is a mobile phone of someone I don't know. Should I answer the phone? And I decided to answer the phone anyways. And yeah, it was the doctor's office, and I was like, what the heck? Rose says, I have very basic photography knowledge. I'm gonna pop off for a bit, hopefully catch the end of the stream. If not, have a fab stream and we'll catch a future stream. Thank you so much for stopping by. I'm gonna finish as soon as I've done purple, so I'll probably be done before you're able to return. In which case, I hope to see you another time. As usual, I do art on Monday and Thursday afternoons, and then on Friday mornings I do currently Hollow Knight Silksong. It's a silly time, but we have fun. I'm just using the Edo Violet here because I actually think it is a perfect... Once again, the camera betrays me because the camera shows this as I would say a good shade or two bluer than it is IRL. And then it also shows this as more a straight ahead pink, whereas this is definitely a violet. Okay, so this is more purple and this is also more purple. These two are closer to each other in hue than the camera makes them look. I bought the two purples because I was worried that this purple was too bluish purple, but actually in real life it is very much like the quintessential like gay rainbow purple. It is the purple of you know, like the pride flag. It is Um, it is the purple of the non-beanie flag as well. That I feel like the purple of the ace flag is a slightly cooler purple than those. I'd need to eyedropper tool the bi flag purple out of context of the colors around it to know which purple it's more like. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know. That's enough flag color discourse for today. I think ultimately when it comes down to it, flag color discourse is I wouldn't worry about your flag colors being the exact hex codes. If the vibes are there, then the vibes are there, you feel? This is not... We are not here using the Pantone guide. A pride flag is not... I said this in a YouTube comment section recently, actually. A pride flag is not a corporate logo. It's like, a few years ago, there was someone who was, like, the president of, like, the Bi Association of America, or something like... I can't remember the name of the org, but it was something like the Bi Association of America, or something like that, who claimed that, like, that they owned the IP of the Bi Pride flag, and that therefore anyone who is making unauthorized use of the Bi Pride flag needed to cease and desist, and wanted to, like, say that you would have to pay them if you wanted to use the Bi Pride flag. And it's like, okay, if that was actually enforceable, which it's not because you don't own this, and the designer of the flag has said that you don't own this, if that was enforceable, then I don't know, folks would probably just make a new flag. La-di-da. I would miss that beautiful gradient, but, you know, like, whatever. It's... You cannot... Sorry. The flag is for community. Don't make it weird. I saw some discourse recently about someone proposed a new flag for ace folks. And a lot of people did not like the new flag. I saw the proposed new flag design, and my first thought was, that looks too much like the non-binary flag because they've added a yellow stripe. And that's just going to be visually confusing for people because, you know, like, there's recognition in the original one, but also I like the colors of the original better. And then most of the comments were people being like, I like the colors of the original one better. So there you go. Not saying that anyone, like, you know, chooses an identity based on, I vibe with this particular flag color, but it is a nice coincidence that I really love the color scheme of the Bi Pride flag. I have joked before that, like, the difference between bi people and pan people, it's none of, like, the arbitrary and oftentimes, like, biphobic or panphobic, or somehow both biphobic and panphobic at once, kind of reasoning to distinguish the two that people often make. The actual difference between bi people and pan people is whether or not you prefer a warm color palette or a cool color palette. This is a joke, obviously. It's deeply personal, and it pretty much has to do with which term vibes with you more, I guess. But, like, there's significant overlap between the two. I would go so far as to say that, like, there really isn't that huge of a difference between the two, and for a lot of people, there's no difference. It's just which word do you prefer using for yourself. And that's fine. If you want to draw bigger distinctions than that, recognize that those distinctions are probably not universal, and that it's not up to you to police how other people choose to identify and what other identifiers people feel comfortable using. That is, frankly, none of your beeswax. So, yeah, anyways. Katie says, trying to enforce copyright on a pride flag is like the chick who tried to trademark Hot Girls Read. Oh my god, seriously? No. That being said, when I was on Etsy, years ago, back in like the 2000s, so this is going back 20 years, I had an Etsy shop where I sold, I would do designs and print them onto things like t-shirts and tote bags and stuff, like very, very DIY prints, right? Um, like literally using fabric inks and then block printing onto garments and bags and stuff. And I also did crochet and knitted accessories and homewares. And I had this one design that was intended primarily for like children's clothes, and it's, you know, had like a cute little motif, and it said "Go play outside" in an attractive script font, which was the style at the time. And I got a cease and desist for the phrase "go play outside," which I thought at the time sure sounded like a load of old horse feathers. But I didn't have the means to contest it, so I just took the designs down. But I was like, I tried to look up, like, okay, what is this brand that claims to own this phrase? And I couldn't find any documentation anywhere online pertaining to anyone, like, owning that trademark. But again, I was just a small potato, so I didn't really have the means to properly contest that, and also it was like one design and I could just pull it from my shop. So I just pulled it from my shop because I didn't want to get in trouble because whatever. But yeah, it was 100% just a load of nonsense and completely untrue and just mean, frankly. And probably also some tiny business somewhere who doesn't understand how trademark works. Jenga says, "Wow, yeah, that dumb gal shaking my head. It's a whole fiasco," says Katie. Wow, it's already under review with the USPTO. Oh no. Oh, heavens to Betsy. What a mess. What a mess. People are so silly. People are so I feel like there are certain phrases and stuff that are just too common to trademark, you know? I feel like it's frankly the degree to which like companies and stuff will try and claim that certain things are intellectual property, trademarked, whatever, that really shouldn't be. It just makes me sad. Stuff like cuz you know there are colors. There are colors that are trademarked. There are colors that like belong to businesses, which as an artist who loves playing with color is freaking ridiculous to me. You should not be able to say that you own this specific shade of magenta just because it's the color that your brand uses. No. Get in the bin. It's magenta. Nobody owns magenta, you Pringle. Anyways, I'm gonna mute again for just a second. And hopefully that's the last time I'm going to blow my nose on stream today because I am gearing up to wind down. Katie says the lawyer involved needs to be looked at more than like once by the local bar association. Might need his law license inspected. Oh boy. I need to look up this drama after we're done here, because that sounds like a gosh dang train wreck. There are, those cases where it's just like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Sometimes I do, I understand, there are some lawyers that are definitely going to pick up on things that seem pretty dang opportunistic, just in the hopes that they might be able to swing it. But if you don't swing it, you look like an idiot. And even if you do swing it, people are gonna hate you, because that's a stupid thing to do. I still think they were, just related to the girl, to be honest, says Jenga. It makes no sense why she'd request someone in Colorado to take up her trademark if she lives in North Carolina? Girl! This is so goofy. I need to find out. Someone maybe didn't do I'm sorry, do due diligence? I know it's due diligence, but due diligence, just do. It's due diligence. Okay, I think I'm tired and I need to go. I feel bad for the U.S. Patent Office, to be honest. They've been cut and overwhelmed so badly that, like, it just sucks. Oh, I believe it. As with so many essential government services, why would they need funding or, you know, resources? These things aren't important at all. I hate it here. The fun that has come, one fun that has come from this whole thing is the hot folks read instead. You know what? And as a non-beanie baby, I appreciate that. Jenga says, I'm still looking for a mid-folks read, too. You know what? I would love something that says mid-folks read, too. I would feel very seen by that. Oh, my goodness gracious. Speaking of reading, I have been... this is probably the not a good time to ask, but I was thinking, so I have plans, and I don't know if I should reveal these plans, because, ooh, secrets. Better go trademark it, says Jenga. Good luck with that. Off-brand Offspring says, maps and plans, hell yeah. Jenga no, says Katie. Jenga no. I forget what I was going to say. Because my brain is dead. But I think that's probably also means that it's time for me to depart for the day. And I'll be back on Thursday to hopefully finish this piece, but at the very least continue our work on it. Off-brand Offspring, I'm so sorry that you've arrived just in time for the end, but thank you so much for being here. I hope you had a nice couple of minutes. Are you going to go to sleep? I am going to go make dinner. And hopefully dinner will perk me up a bit. I'm going to have some fish, so that's nice and high in protein, yada, yada, yada. And a good time. But I will leave you in very capable hands, I am sure. Let me just take a little look-see and see who's online. We might want to say a little hello to, who perchance we haven't said hello to in a little while. And I think I'm going to bid hello to the lovely Perrin, who I haven't seen in a bit, who's quietly drawing and has just recently begun, so is not going to be ending anytime soon, I assume. But thank you so much for hanging out with me, everyone. Thank you so much also to, they've both left, but thank you again to Sammy Ann and to CC Draws for the raids. Very much appreciated. Very wonderful people and amazing artists. If you haven't checked them out, I recommend it. Speaking of amazing artists, we're going to go see Perrin, whose work is absolutely dang delightful. So let's go bid them a hello. I've got a generic raid message in the chat. If you have the emotes, feel free to grab the message with the emotes. If you do not have the emotes, you can just say generic raid message and append any cool emotes that you do have. Hi, Huggy Bear, you're here just in time to the end. Just in time for the end, but I am leaving you in the very capable hands of Perrin, who we are raiding into. If you haven't met them yet, they are a really nice, soft place to land as well. I'm so sorry you missed the stream, but I will be back just in time for 250 channel points, I guess. Well, at least there's that, and I will be back on Thursday anyway, so hope to see you again soon and get to catch up a bit. In the meantime, have a great evening, everyone. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. It's been very fun. Take care, everyone. Good night, and good luck.